You are now tuned into 2111 Radio Show, hosted by our program director, Derrick Scott.
A new nationwide study from Harvard University says coronavirus patients with previous high exposure to air pollution are more likely to die from the infection. That might be why one parish in Louisiana is seeing the highest death rate outside of New York State, as CNN's Ed Lavandera reports.
In mid-March, Diane and Edward Jasmine attended church services led by their son in Laplace, Louisiana. Pastor Antoine Jasmine noticed his parents looked ill that morning. A few days later, the couple ended up in the hospital as doctors confirmed they were both infected with coronavirus.
This is the last time I saw them was seated here.
Last week, Pastor Jasmine was recording a sermon when he got the dreaded message.
I was preaching and then I got the text, "Your father just passed." And I kept preaching.
2 hours later, he got another message. His mother had also died.
If someone told me your parents are going to leave you, I would have not accepted it. It just was mind-blowing, and still today, it's still shocking.
The Jasmines lived their whole lives in St. John the Baptist Parish, which sits along the Mississippi River between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. It's home to a sprawling collection of chemical and industrial plants. The area has been at the center of battles over air pollution for decades. It's often called Cancer Alley. This tiny parish, with a population of about 45,000 people, has the country's highest per capita coronavirus death rate, according to a data analysis by the New York Times. 569 coronavirus cases have been reported in St. John's, and 47 people have died.
We are dying at unprecedented numbers.
Wow.
A new nationwide study from Harvard University says coronavirus patients.
Okay, we here. We're having some technical difficulties, but we're here now. Welcome to the 2111 Real Talk podcast today. We have Dr. Antoine Jasmine in the building. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity to come on your show. We appreciate all this to the people, and thank you so much.
Listen, again, my condolences to you and your family. This is one of these subjects I wanted to talk about because I don't know too much about the coronavirus. It happened and it left. And I'm one of the fortunate people, me and my family never actually caught COVID. So, and I didn't do the medicines or nothing like that. I did old-fashioned medicine.
Yes, sir. I got you.
You understand? So what happened, we kept ourselves inside or whatever, but we was good. And, I don't condone either you do or don't take the shot. I don't believe in the shot because I don't know what's in it. So that's something that I actually wanted to talk about with you. So talk about where you actually from and how did this even come about?
Okay, well, I'm from Laplace, Louisiana, as the CNN commentator expressed, born and raised here. But I'm a world traveler. I've been many places bringing the gospel of the kingdom. And that's not just inclusive church. I'm politically connected, advisory to politics, just balance the act of a politician. Kings need spiritual advisors just to keep them grounded. So I would like to say I'm the advisory to government, then to be in government. Understand my duty as a faith-based leader to the community, not just in scriptures, but leading by examples, by school drive giveaways, voting drives, and just empowering the people of this rural town to know that your essence count. So I have a threefold type of, I'm in Jerusalem, Samaria, Judea, and the uttermost parts. So the commission that Jesus gave, I am fulfilling all four. And we do have some relationships. We've planted there a church that's doing the same model as we do here in Louisiana in a Dutch speaking country in the Netherlands. So again, I'm honored to be here just to get the message and share with you more on the COVID-19 situation that occurred over 4 years ago.
Wow. So first of all, let me give you one of the because we need this. We need more guidance. I'm sorry, we do. We do. And someone like you took upon this mission. I wouldn't call it a job, it's a mission to me. I think it's something that's in you. And salute to you and doing what you're doing. You've been in Jerusalem, like, wow. I'm sitting here like, something like that, it really gets to me because it's like, that's where it all began. So it's like, wait a minute, this man was in Jerusalem. So how is it out there in Jerusalem? Because I've never been.
Well, let me just bring some clarity. Metaphorically, I've not been to Jerusalem. Your Jerusalem, we all have our Jerusalem is our home base where we live, our influence. So home, love begins first at home, abroad. Now, I do have relationships to Europe, Africa. I've been physically to those places.
Okay.
Do use as a point of home first.
Right.
In America. So I've been in the white schools. I have spoke to white churches, spoke to Latino churches.
Nice.
But I am a Black man in America. So I have a duty to go to my Jerusalem, which is America.
I know that's right. What I want to talk about is, it's called La Plaza, Plastic. What is it called again? This part of Louisiana.
Yes, it's a French town. No, this is Louisiana, so we're the deep South. Everything's French. People migrated through slavery here. As a matter of fact, La Place is historically one of the slave trades of that time. So people came here to trade off slaves. Plantations are here. Families live they still have plantation houses as a tourism type situation. That's a whole.
I've heard of that. Yes, unbelievable. And I didn't, I've never heard of this place before. That's the crazy part. Never in my life. So that being said, the plant that I seen, that plant, I think I have a picture of it. Talk to me about this plant because it says something. What kind of plant is this?
Yes, it's an industrial plant. We have Marathon, which is a global oil refinery company. We have Shell. We have Valero. Those are all industrial companies. Quite a few. And the perks of them being here would be for counties is bringing a surplus taxation to that area. But on the down spiral side, it is harming lives. It's statistically, we've had more cancer patients dying in graveyards here than any other place in the world.
Wow. Listen, I'm sitting here shocked, so it's hurting people. Is anybody trying to do something about this? Because what you're telling me is that they just said something on the video I just said, they call it, is that people catching cancer fast out there, on this plant.
The gentleman that was speaking on Bull's Horn, he is a good friend of mine. Matter of fact, he told CNN, you need to get Bishop Jasmine to speak because he just buried both of his parents. And they called me and he said, was referred to by so-and-so. And that's when I got the call. And I said, of course, I'll share about my family, and not to make it political, but just share, had we did certain precautionaries for these type of industries, then immune systems wouldn't have been compromised, where my parents would have been able to resist the virus. And we didn't know wearing masks and those things that were put into place. You were fortunate enough, not to have your families infected. I think I may have been infected a few times, but I didn't worry. I just kept it moving. And, and and just know the effects of COVID-19, and then put things in place what I feel to boost my immune system and whatnot. But my parents were in their 70s, so they don't have a young body to resist. And so when I see elderly people, my heart goes to them, because my parents were they were healthy in their undercurrents, in little small things, not nothing major.
Right.
They were going people. They were not in wheelchairs and canes, and they were not sick, bedridden type situations. So we're kind of preaching to the choir, because they've been advocating against these plants for years. This is Louisiana. So Louisiana has a different set of guidelines and rules. So that's this whole nother, remember where you are, you're in the deep South. We are on the outskirts of New Orleans. We can drive every day, 20 minutes away.
Okay.
The surplus for the state of Louisiana. We are rural towns, so there's little surpluses and perks to rural towns. So, but we're doing the best we can to advocate against it. But it's going to take a whole nother army and another type of noise to make this work, to let people know, hey, this has to stop, so on and so forth. We were able to, there was another plant coming to the area on the west bank of, we call it St. John Parish. And the people rallied against it, and it worked, and they were not able to come to their community, which was and I don't really get into the antics, and there's pros and cons to it coming and not coming, and I'll leave that because I know I'm on the public platform. But the people won. They didn't allow it, and it did not enter that space. So if we advocate like that in these times, we can save lives.
Right. Now, that's deep. Like I said, and the crazy part, like I said, for this to be happening, they're not putting stuff like that on the news. We don't get to know any of these things. So it's fun. It's good that I have you here and we able to talk about it, because this actual podcast, this show is going to be recorded and being on Spotify, iTunes. So we're going to get the word out today at the end of the day, because things need to be done for plants like that, because they're not taking precautions before they build these plants. They just building them and doing what they want to do.
Well, it becomes a political side, because if the governor don't live in Laplace, or the one who's legislating the laws don't live in the community, it's easy to say, hey, I think that's going to bring a good surplus taxation to the people. And then the people, they may put it sometime on the ballot or a council meeting. Sometimes the political people may know about it and they gain a surplus, but it hurt the people. And I'm godly proud that community, I don't live in that community, we're able to advocate against what they feel is best for their community.
Exactly.
Not it's best or not best. That's not for me to say. But all I know was they were able to stop and block the progress of something entering their community, which should be. But over the process of time, backdoors are made, and people get played in the process, and we lose lives over a period of time. I am a witness of the funerals in the area, and as a child, I saw a lot of funerals. And most of those funerals, as I think about it, was women who had cancer, or a Black man that had maybe prostate cancer, and all the awareness that is taking place this month among Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I see the ribbons are going around. So
yes.
So we appreciate that awareness. But I've seen so many lives. My mother's best friend passed away of breast cancer. So as a result, we believe now that were not voted upon, they were just brought into the community and Black those communities, and allow the people to absorb that air, and eventually every immune system was not able to resist cancerous cells.
No, there was not. There was not. Now, let me explain what's going on. And I don't know if you know this, but the devil's in the building. Let me explain what's going on. He's cutting you off and on while you talk. I believe that in true heart because I don't have these glitches a lot on my show. And we having glitches because you're here telling this story. And I got like goosebumps right now, like really goosebumps. And we're going to get this story out there. But I want to talk about your parents real quick, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
So now the story was told, and no one can explain this more than the son. Now, are you the only child, or you have brothers and sisters?
I'm the youngest of three.
Oh, okay, youngest. Okay, all right. Yo, so now what I'm hearing, you have a brother, if I'm not mistaken. I got some information that you have a brother, and he was incarcerated. Is that true?
Yeah, I have a brother who was incarcerated. He was received a life sentence to be in prison for life.
Yes.
In court over almost 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And your mom, So your mom, God bless her, her faith said that he was coming home.
Her faith, person said God told them, you got to look, did he really? What did he say? And said that your brother will not be in prison all his life. But in the natural, he's in prison for life. Appeals were made. And in the fullness of time, we start seeing the light open up in the tunnel. It wasn't open fully, but there was light of hope coming. In the process of time, that transition in 2020, in 2022, he was released on the premise of my faith to take on her faith to make sure your brother is okay, because we're not here to make sure he's okay. And we know our youngest son, who has obeyed God to the fullest of life, who life went a different way from the other two brothers. God made him different. We know he would do what's right and make sure his elder brother is out of prison. So we're able to knock on some doors and push some political doors and knock on the door of the governor, and he was able to be released in 2022.
I'm so happy, man. You understand? I'm so happy for you guys to hear that story. When I saw it, I'm like, wait a minute. And like I always say prior shows, is that it's too many of us getting locked up. It's too many. It's too many. And the system, like you said, the system is to me is rigged, especially against us. And I always speak about it, but I'm glad he's home. He got his little bro. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing. Brotherhood. It's nothing like some brotherhood, I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? So salute to him and everybody in your family. So now I'm looking at the picture of your mother and father, right? And all just aside, all I see is love. I'm gonna tell you right now, these two, I think they have a book. It's a book that's out right now, and I've seen this book. Can you please explain us about the love story? Total, what is that? I can't even see it right now. Restoration, yes.
Yeah, the book is about total restoration, beauty for the ashes. When we use the word restoration, it means back to the original intent. So that means that whatever took place, we had to go back in time to fix it. So my parents were married, but they had a broken marriage. Right. So God had to go back and fix it. So, and how God fixed it was through their youngest son. So my destiny locked with theirs fixed it, restored a situation. My dad left my mother in her life. He divorced her all his life. He dealt with infidelity in the marriage. I was with my mother in the vehicle when she would go over to call him out of the woman's house. A woman just know a husband cheating, and she just knew where to find him for some reason. And I'm her baby, so I get to see her cry, see her sob, then reconcile with him again. Like I'm saying, why are you still with my dad when you see the love of a woman toward her husband during those times?
Right.
So the book kind of shares with, as I think, intelligently, not to look at my dad with bitterness or being bitter with my mother, in allowing yourself to be tied to this abusive situation. If at my early teens, there was a calling on my life that was pronounced that I would do this, that thing I'm doing today, this is what I would be doing. And one prophetic word came that you will restore your family. I couldn't understand that because I don't even like my family like that. And we're divided. So it was a broken system. So
Yes.
it wasn't until the intervention of God, me discovering who I am, my mother trying to find her way, who was a very spiritual woman, a prayer warrior. My dad had a relationship with God. No, he had his own relationship with God, but not knowing that he had to deal with his childhood issues. He had to deal with her childhood issues. Me looking from a logical stance. Okay, well, how was my grandfather and grandmother's situation? Where it was filled with infidelity, mental health, all types of things that went through the family bloodline. So I began to become more sympathetic toward the situation because my dad was a survivor. He didn't finish high school, but he got his GED, and then boom, he went on to college, straight A student, and he was smart, a genius of everything. Boom, he made it. My mother was a housekeeper in the hospital. Then she became a nurse, process of time. So all those things, I saw them work in both of their lives. Okay, he leaves my mother, not just leave her, but marries the woman. My mother goes into a mental ward. The doctor said she would never come out of the mental ward. And then it happened. Then I was in college. I heard a voice says, go get your mom from the mental ward. But even though the doctor said she'd never come out. So I prayed for my mother as she was a boy when I was a kid. Then she snapped out of it. 30 days later, she came out of the mental ward. 2008, I answered a call at Pastor Little Church here in LaPlace. Boom, my dad came to one of my services. He was amazed to see his baby son preaching and people blessed. And my mother left her church, said, I think I need to join forces with our son. And then my dad cried and sobbed in the living room of his home and said, I'm sorry, I did your mom wrong. I want to remarry your mom, so we want you to marry us. I married them, I counseled them, I ordained them, I licensed them. And so 12 years before the transition in 2020, I was their father. I was their spiritual guide. I was that guy that they can look to, you know what, he look like your mom and your dad, inseparable side of what we do. So the book is about giving that journey of them being young teenagers. She got pregnant. She was married to my dad. My dad married her, who did birth my brother went to prison. He was the firstborn. That's the middle boy, and that's me, the youngest. And through the equation of the Joseph in the family, which I didn't ask for, God gave it to me. We were able to reconcile them. We were able to even bury them on the same day. They both transitioned on the same day, as the news reporter said, 4 hours apart. Boom, my dad went in first, my mother went after him, and sad story, but yet is a resilient story where one is not left to grieve over the other. I don't have to comfort my mother and say, oh, I know you miss Pop, but it's going to be all right. I got to go talk to my dad and say, hey, you miss Mom? And because he was a very quiet guy, so he would probably grieve himself quietly into dying. So I'm not left to deal with the pain of that twice. So it's already a and this past Sunday was my mother's birthday. So there was Sunday service I was able to embrace my brother in a service together with me as we celebrated our mother's birthday, because she was the rock of the church, because she was Mom Jasmine was it. She was the to-go person. She was outgoing. My dad was more of a genius guy. So I think I get my business savviness from him. Aggressive fight side comes from her. So the story's still being unraveled. There's still layers. You mentioned about your mother 20 years. It's still unraveling, still layers of healing, still layers of anxiety, still layers of grief, all type of dreams, and all the things of trauma. Is a traumatic situation in the natural, because I'm still a man. But Superman we think we are, there's still a soul which has a logical side, subconscious inner subconscious, the psychological side of the man, the spiritual side of the man. So I need you to just get this book and know the journey of a struggle, but it ended beautifully because they both are with each other forever, life's partners. And I'm just track the record.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you something. I said this before. I had a pastor on my show, and I get these chills when you're speaking. I got these little goosebumps on my arm, so I have to like calm myself down because this is this is something I've never heard this story before, and I'm getting it for the first time, and it's like I'm feeling you. Like I'm feeling you in the room, like you all around the room for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sitting here and it's like I have notes, but I'm not even looking at the notes. I'm sitting here looking at you and listening to you, and you're right here in my head right now. So I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna get past this. All right. So now, what I want to know is COVID precautions. Like people have to take precautions still to this day. They still have to take precautions to this day. So what are some of the things that you can give us, like some notes that you could give us to get, past this dangerous disease, because it's still out there?
Well, I have a few friends who recently caught COVID, and they allow me to know there are, now it's called the pulse after COVID had passed through your system. It circles the same symptoms you had when you got it or when it was detected, then you can be washed from it and still deal with the residue of your body trying to recover back to normalcy. And so, because it goes in and out, whatever is going on. The best remedy I could tell people is, masks are good, and listen to your body. It'll tell you something is off. And live healthy lives, eat right, do stuff, moderately exercise, so your body can fight for you. The body was made to fight for you. And I think when I go to the doctor, they get mad because they always ask, "Do you have any surgeries? Do you have anybody in your family have heart attack?" No, I don't have heart problems. So they are amazed. I think I did a stress test because I thought having some heart problems. And no, I knew my body said, you don't have heart problems. You are under a great deal of stress. So when the doctor did a stress test, they said, "Wow, you went the longest than anybody we ever saw on this trip."
There you go.
They were shocked. Said, "Well, you need to put my picture on the wall so people can know, hey,
You know what I'm saying?
guys do work. You just make it work." So,
There it is.
well, so monitor your mental health. Have good vibes of good energy around you. All that plays a part of the health. I'm discovering that now about myself. That I'm a pastor, so we absorb negative energies. So you have to know how to filter out, that negative energy, because you think it's you, but you absorb other people's energy. And now in the energy levels, and this is off record, just to filter out negativity that leads to sickness, as a result of sickness. So for COVID-19, I would commend us guard, protect our elderly. We come to a public place, we let them, they want to mask up because we want to see you alive. We need our elderly to live long lives. We need them to be around a long time. Had I known what I know now, I would have been there with my parents. They wouldn't have went out the way they did.
Exactly.
I have a percentage of elderly people. We protect them. I draw from them. I draw wisdom from them. So for those, so far as COVID-19, is strange strides are out there, and it's not as fatal, but it's still trimming that immune system. Is going to eat on those cells, and we have to know how to recalibrate cells, through drinking water with minerals in them, and decipher the types of water to drink, so you know how to have the proper minerals to recalibrate your cells. So I know I'm saying a lot here, but it's all about your health and knowing that I travel. So I travel with a mask because after I've traveled, I come home, I feel sick. Like, what's going on? So I masking up traveling, so I won't think I'm Superman. And then just to be not walk in fear, but just be cognitive of health and germs and things are in the air that can grip you, and a way to precautionary. So the basics is mask and diet and water and things that you know what could and prevent you from resisting the COVID-19.
There we go. Listen. You know, this COVID-19, this whole virus, you know, it attacked our immune system, but it also attacked how people carry themselves, as far as in washing your hands. When you washing your hands after you get out from outside, sometimes people talk in your face. So right now, I actually use my mask every time I go outside. Every time. It doesn't matter. And, you know, I see everybody with no mask. You hear somebody cough. Now, you know, you hear him cough, and it's like, oh, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know, but back in the days, you say bless you and walk away like nothing happened. So if I see somebody sneezing in an aisle in a store, I go the other way because I can't do it, because you never know. So the fundamental things that we supposed to do, we was not doing. And this is what a lot of people got caught up with the COVID, because pollution, New York is one of the worst pollutionized states on the planet. You can see you can see, if it's hot, you can see the pollute, you can see it, you can feel it. When it's muggy in New York, your whole body hurts. So yes, that's why New York was one of the top, if not the top, cities of COVID. It really was. And again, I appreciate you, you know, giving us this story, because we definitely gonna get this story out there. And you know, you could save some lives with this, because if you pay attention to what this man is telling you, is everything he's telling us is fundamental. Water. Water. Who don't drink water? If you don't drink water, and then you got to drink the right water. You can't go to the store, because we don't know where that water came from, unfortunately. I'm sorry. A lot of the water that we drink and thinking is spring water, it might not, it just be from somebody's faucet. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that we definitely need more research on, and really follow this this disease and make sure that we don't get it, because the elderly really die from this. Like so many. So I'm 58 and I don't want to go nowhere. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna do everything for my family to make sure that we good.
You look well for 58. I want to look like I'm 58. Look like
Thanks, I appreciate that. So now I do have something here. We was talking about it in the back. It's this is coming. So talk to me about this.
Yeah, how God made me. It just given basic fundamentals. I believe that as a faith man that speaks from a position of faith, if we keep it simplistic and practical, it becomes more attractive. Just go into the side of the man, not the mission, just the man. The eternalizing the war, the battles. I don't give details, but just kind of coming to a consensus of discovering yourself. I believe when you discover yourself, you then have discovered God, because God is too big to discover. He's God. And you have a limited spaces of life. So, and we know Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, probably they're aware of this, but
woo-wee, listen, you gonna get me to start talking, you better stop it. Oh, no, you didn't. You're right about that.
Discovering oneself is discovering, you discover God, you inside of God, and comfortable with your self-love.
I know that's right. Yo, this has been an interesting conversation. Like I said, I still got chill bumps for some reason. I understand, but you know, since you're traveling, where's the next place are you going?
Well, the next place I have is Fort Lauderdale at the end of the month.
Really?
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale, and I'll be in Fort Lauderdale twice, like back to back. And at the end of December, I believe it is.
Wow. Check you out. Traveling man. I like that. I love that.
Well, getting better since I thought I would, like you said, the story, my objective is to get the message. I thank you for the opportunity to share the message. My good friend David reached out to you so the message be conveyed, because it's been lying dormant. It's not like I didn't try to get it out, but I'm one man, and you're trying to recover mentally, and people know, hey, this is a surviving story. Platforms and the Oprahs, Tamaras, and these people need to hear. All have faced some type of calamity or trauma. So I've reached out to some of my friends who lost everything in the flood in the Carolinas. I mean, whole towns got wiped up, and that's not given the. We have helped. We were one of the relief centers for Louisiana. Louisiana is known for flooding, so we understand losing, stuff. But
yes, you do.
Lives critical, and so this story of lives and how to save lives.
Yes, definitely. And, speaking of Louisiana, you guys have been through a lot. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, you guys, after Katrina, it's been so many hurricanes and tornadoes that's been hitting Louisiana. Like, I'm not understanding this. It's kind of, I don't know. I'm dumbfounded by it, because every time there's a hurricane, it's always facing either Florida or Louisiana. And it's been happening for like the last 3 to 4 years. Like, I don't understand. I really don't. And, bless everybody for the people that's been surviving, because you lost a lot. It's been a lot. And, God has everyone's back at the end of the day. And I always felt that God is not going to put too much on you that you don't feel you can handle, and you're a very powerful being. I would call you a being, because you got me with bumps. I don't know why you done did something. I don't know what's going on, but it's been an interesting conversation, because it's needed. And everybody that's in the live right now, I need y'all to share this video either on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, because we're going to get this story out, because it definitely needs to be told. Definitely need to be told, because we did not know anything about this. This happened in 2020, and here we are 4 years later, and I'm just learning for the first time. So yes, we definitely need to get this out here and make this happen, because this is an incredible man right here, and I appreciate you coming to my show. I really do, and giving us this. Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So now, before I let you go, is it possible me and you could talk in the back after the show? Yeah, because I had to talk to this man. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on around here, but what I want to do, I want to thank everybody for showing up. There's a lot of people up in here. A lot of people up in here. I see them. They definitely showed up for you tonight. Who's Julie Washington? You got Connie Lewis. You got some people up in here. They've been chirping in, and I like that. That's what I like. Support. And I can see that you got support, So any last words before I let you go?
Well, last words would be anyone that's watching that will feel the story need to be told. I'm an author of many books. I have over 14 to 15 books written already. I did receive 16 Lifetime Achievement Award from the 44th President Barack Obama. I'm also an author in his book called Mr. President. 84 of Us was a book presented to our 44th president, and many accolades along the way. But people say, why the world doesn't know you? Well, some people know I'm known, but I'm not renowned. So people know I'm not in it to be renowned. But if the universe says we need the world to know this man, then it takes you to allow the world to know me. A man cannot promote himself. I could do what I can, but it takes a destiny helper to say, hey, we're going to help this man message get out. and then you Google my name, you find out all the accomplishments.
Oh yeah.
I have one of my dearest members. She said, a woman at her job says, I Googled your bishop name. I cannot find anything negative. What is his scale? Is this man human? I am human. FYI, I am a human. I love to eat. I love to have a good time. I love to dance, things like that. But I need the world to help me get the message to the world so we can be healed.
Exactly. Yeah, listen, let me tell you. So people are definitely chirping in, like they got some stuff going on in here. I tell you, boy, they're definitely in here. And what I wanted to know, since you like to eat, since you like to eat on some, I just was interested. Out of all your travels, wherever you went, where can I find the best food?
I'm gonna be very simplistic and practical. Now, how can I say it? I had someone just bring me food a few minutes ago, and they know what type of food I like. So I would say Louisiana food would be the top tier. Even when I'm away, I'm saying, "Oh, I miss my Louisiana food," but I don't know what it is about Caribbean food, Jamaican food, from peas and rice to whole fish, but the head has to look at me. That's real. The Bahamas, I've been to Ghana, Africa a few times, the jollof with fish with the head again. So I think I'm just a country. I was raised with whole fish, so maybe it's my dad. He was a fishing guy. So when I started going to these places, I realized, okay, this was transferred from these islands. And then people think I'm Haitian. No, I'm not Haitian. Because flair is exotic. I like fish, love those exotics. And that would be it. I wouldn't say Europe. I wouldn't say, respectfully, those who are watching in Europe, I wouldn't say Italian food. It would be that Caribbean, spice seasoned African food, those types of cuisines with well seasoned. I'm getting more into soups now. I don't have to eat. Soup would be nice just to, appease the immune system, just not because you're sick, but just do something different from heavy food. So this way. So I would say Caribbean and Louisiana.
Okay. All right. Listen, I agree with you. The Caribbean food, I'm from New York, so it's a part of New York in Brooklyn. It's called Flatbush. Flatbush Avenue has every Caribbean nation that you can think of. So all the foods that you're talking about is miles away. Everybody has those restaurants. So I'm definitely a foodie when it comes to Jamaican restaurants, Caribbean restaurants. But Louisiana, I've never been there. And I've heard that there's some excellent food in Louisiana.
If you Google best foods in the world, Louisiana would be one of the top 5 tiers of best food. Now, they hit, and that's a whole nother subject.
Yes.
And they hit, and there's a spiritual attribute of that. But there's also a blessing behind the storm, where some people have stepped up from the storm from Katrina. One of my friends, he became a multimillionaire as a result of that storm. And we know we're Zooming. We are now live streaming more as a result of.
Yes.
So through every dilemma, there is a blessing around it. And there's always a surplus after any type of disaster. No, Israel is in the battlefield and all the wars that are going on in the world, but there's always a war for the spoils, for the wealth. It's all about economics and power and control. And so that's a whole nother subject. But the best gumbo, jambalaya cuisines, Creole cuisines that created from those islands. So when I still feel like I'm at home. The name of the cuisines are different, but it's the same type of food. So again, I'm grateful, but you must come to Louisiana and New Orleans. That's northern Louisiana, all respect, and southern Louisiana, south, which is New Orleans, where all of the cuisines and the
Oh, okay.
carnival, the Essence Festival is hosted here as well. So great movies have been filmed here. Is a great place to be, Louisiana. Of course, we have our problems. We have our,
Of course.
but it's still a good place of survival. And we survive off those cuisines I watched my mother make. Stretch that fish out, stretch that.
Wow. Oh, yeah. See? Know how to scratch it. Yeah, listen. I know that's right. I've been the same. My mother scratched that food, boy. I tell you, I definitely understand that. So now, again, I'm going to let you go, but we're going to talk in the back. Again, thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I really appreciate everybody for coming. There's a lot of people in here saying they appreciate you telling this story. I'm definitely honored to have you here, and I'm listening to you. And it's like, again, we're going to talk about that in the back. But everybody else, listen, y'all have a good night. I'm going to let this gentleman talk to me in the back privately. Thank you very much. And I'll talk to y'all Saturday with a new guest. But other than that, y'all have a good night. And yeah, we're out of here. So peace. Let's go.